Hello readers by eyes and by ears, this is Mari Chan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are doing something a little different. We are not reading today. However, I want to help you with something that will help you during your reading experience of Danmei, and that is Chinese pronunciation or Mandarin pronunciation. Now, of course, when you're in your alone time reading, whether in your head or out loud, or even if you're making videos like myself, technically, how you pronounce the names really doesn't matter if you don't know the language. However, there are many people in the world who actually want to know how to pronounce names correctly. So that is what I am here for. From the name of the author to the title of the book to the names of the characters and the locations within it, I want to help people to be able to pronounce these words correctly. So the very first thing that we have to start with is, of course, the basics. A lot of the vowels and consonants within Mandarin are the same as English. However, there are certain ones that are distinguishable, and honestly, those sounds we don't even make in the English language. Well, a lot of people feel like learning Mandarin is a giant feat that they can't do because of some of these sounds that we don't have in our native tongue. However, I would like to help you in hopefully the easiest way possible so that you could see, no, this language is actually attainable. So let's get started. The very first thing we must cover as it pertains to the Mandarin language is the tones. As many of you know, Mandarin is a tonal language. Now, technically English is as well. It just isn't as intentional. We speak tonally based on emotion. They speak tonally based on their system. So how we have questions going up, how are you today? And we make statements going down, it was good. A lot of the inflections that they make are based on how a word is pronounced. So the first thing we will cover is the basic tones. There are 4 tones in Mandarin. I mean, technically there's a 5th, but it's more just like a standard thing of regular pronunciation. So let's go ahead and go over those, and we're going to use the ah sound because why not? So the first tone, also let me say, me personally, in studying the Mandarin language, I feel like it is a musical language. So while we do these tones, just maybe think of it that way. Anyway, the first tone is going to be a straight tone. Ah. We're exaggerating everything, by the way, for now. Ah. Okay. Now moving to the second tone, it's actually rising. So ah, ah. And then the third tone, you're kind of going to do like a vocal fry. Just go ahead and speak at the lowest point you possibly can, and then raise your pitch up a little bit. So ah, ah, ah. Okay, you're not going to go ah, but ah. Okay, so now the fourth tone is you're striking down. Ah. If I do it in slow motion, it's ah, ah. Okay, so let's review that again. First tone, ah. Second tone, ah. Third tone, ah. Fourth tone, ah. And then that fifth tone I talked about, it's just, ah. Okay, so now we can move to the pronunciation of vowels. For the most part, these are fairly simple. So again, going with the A sound, it's going to be ah, like cha, which is T. So now the second letter is, of course, E. That is going to be pronounced like you just got punched in the stomach. Ugh. A word for that could be like 热,天气很热. It's very hot. Now, when the letter E is followed by an N, it's going to be more like like the author's actual name, Mung. So now we move on to the letter I. This one technically has about 3 different pronunciations. And we'll break those down a little further as we go along. But just so you know, it does have the sound. So it's kind of like revving up your car, or 日本, which is Japan. Then we move to the letter O. So theirs is not going to be a diphthong like we do it, but differently. So when we say O, like oh, you hear that? Theirs is more like oh, so like gu hung bo, okay, not gu hung bo. Alrighty, so then we have the letter U, and that's going to be oo. Yay, so easy. But if we put a letter N after it, it becomes uin. So you're basically pronouncing or saying the letter N, un, like 祝你好运, which is essentially good luck. Okay, we have officially covered the vowels. They do not see Y as one like we do sometimes. So let's go ahead and move to a couple of interesting sounds with just the vowels but put together. So the first one we will cover is IE, which is going to make the yeah sound. Like if we think about the word yeah, we're going to take the off the end. Yeah, yeah, like 谢连. Another sound that we have that's going to be a little different is UI. It's going to make the way sound. Way, way. Like get out of my way. Or 崔有望, which is the previous leader of the Hehuan sect. And then close to that sound, but without the ooh sound of diphthong in the beginning, is EI, which is A. Which just sounds like you're pronouncing the letter A, or A, you there, like 微无限. And then I mentioned it already, but en is going to be the un sound. Of course, if you add a G, it's going to be ung, like 蒙喜事. For en, it's going to be un, like 一匹尘. Now for the one sound that's a little bit harder because we typically don't have it in English. So as I said, U is pronounced as oo, but there is an instance in which it is a little different and it's going to have the umlauts on top. And that's with the letter Y. And sometimes you may see it with the letter L. So YU is going to be U, U. The best way I can tell you to do that is say the letter E and your mouth is wide. So then as you say E, I want you to make your lips curl in like you want to say ooh. So E, U, U. Now just add the Y. You, like 于生燕. All right, so just a quick synopsis of the few things we just went through. IE for 也, like 谢连. Wei, UI, like 崔有望. EI, like 魏婴 or 魏无羡. EN as in 一匹尘 or ENG as in 蒙喜事. And then YU, yu, 于生燕. All right, so let's move on to the next section. And this one I think maybe is a little bit more complex, but still not too hard. And this is where I talked about the letter I having a little bit of an identity crisis, where it makes 3 different sounds. So within these 3 different sounds, fortunately, even though that sounds crazy, with the set of rules or the set of letters it follows, it will always make that sound with that one. So it's not going to be like in English where we have these rules of sounds and then we break them. For instance, obviously, read, R-E-A-D is read, long E because of the A after it. And then suddenly it turns to red a moment later. No. So we're going to start with when I makes the sound, like I said already. That is going to be when it follows SH, CH, and ZH. Then next we'll compare that with XI, QI, and JI. But first, let's go ahead and go through these 3. So we have SHI. That will be pronounced 是, like 是清玄. Then CHI. CH is going to be pronounced like we do in English as well. 吃, like chair. And the I, so 吃, like 吃了吗? Have you eaten? And then we have ZHI. So ZH is going to be pronounced like the letter J. Zhi. Like, I think it was Nie Huaisang or whatever his name was in MDZS who always said, 不知道, 不知道, 不知道. I don't know. So zhi. So the reason that I said we would be comparing all of those 3, SHI, CHI, ZHI to XI, QI, JI is because there are some things you're going to be using to shift the way you pronounce SHI, CHI, ZHI to help you pronounce these. So let's go ahead and start with the comparison of SHI to XI. So again, first let me say XI, QI, and JI, the I is now going to turn to the long E sound, E. So here's what we're going to do to pronounce X. You're going to take SH, sh, Now, with SH, CH, and JH, your tongue is, I don't know, somewhere in like the middle of your mouth or middle upper. What you're going to do when you're pronouncing all of these other letters, X, Q, and J, you're going to put the tip of your tongue behind the bottom teeth. So we have shh. To pronounce X, what you're going to do, put that tongue behind the bottom teeth and still make the sh sound. So I'm going to transition. Shh. Do you hear it? So it's a little bit more restrained or stunted, if I would say. So shh. And then you're going to add the long E sound for the letter I. So xi, like 我喜欢你, which is I like you. So then we're going to compare CHI to QI. So again, we have CH making the regular ch sound, ch. You're going to do the same thing you did with XI. Take the tip of your tongue and place it behind your bottom teeth. So ch for CH and then ch. Okay, so chi. Now let's move to ZHI versus JI. Again, we have j. Place that tongue behind the bottom teeth. Ji, j, 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 j. Hear the difference? Okay, now I'm going to review them. So we have sh, xi, ch, qi, j, ji. Okay, now let's move to the next section. And that is going to be CI, ZI, RI. Let's go ahead and start with CI. I want you to say cats. Cats. Yeah, meow. Okay. Now take away the CA and just do the TS. Ts, ts, ts. That is how you're going to pronounce the letter C. And then you're going to add I, and it's going to make the sound. Kind of like for E, but it's going to be not as free, I guess. So je for hot in RE, but with this z, so instead of more like 第一次, which is the first time. Now let's move to ZI, and I wanted to do this one second because CI and ZI are kind of close together. So say kids, kids. Now take off KI and just do ZS, Z, Z. There is how you pronounce the Z. It's not going to be a straight up Z like zebra. It's Z. So just add I, Z, like 自己, 我自己, myself. So again, going from CI to ZI, we have Z and Z, Z, Z. Can you hear the difference? Please let me know if you can. Now, finally, we're moving on to RI. So technically, you can just pronounce the R like a regular old American or anyone who speaks English, I guess, as R. But that's not really the way you do it. However, I understand some people may have a harder time, kind of like some people can't roll their R's. Anyway, what you're going to do is kind of put an SH sound in front of R. So we have R and then we have sh. And you're going to kind of blend them, fuse them together. So zh, zh, zh. Again, like 日本, which is Japan. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of that. It's z, z, zh. Okay. All right. So now that we've gone over several basic pronunciations, which I know there are some things that are left off, that's totally okay. Let's go ahead and get down to the name, which if you look in the back of the book, they actually have a pronunciation guide here, but it's going to be two first tones. qian, qiu, qian, qiu. And remember, you're going to put your tip of your tongue behind the bottom teeth. qian, qiu. And then, of course, our main beloved character, 沈乔, 沈乔. And then, of course, we have 燕无事 and 齐方格 and 白荣. Now, of course, chances are when you're actually reading out loud, you're probably not going to pronounce the tones just because it might take you out of the flow of your reading in English. You know, it's kind of like if you're speaking in English and then suddenly you're saying something in another language and you're trying to sound like that language, it might make it a little weird. Like, for example, more than likely, I'm not going to be like, Yan Wushi was walking through the store. I'm probably just going to say, Yan Wushi was walking through the store. So, of course, the point of this is not to like stress you out when you're reading and everything. Really, more so just want to help you with the regular pronunciation, not necessarily the tones. However, I hope this has been very helpful for you all. If there is anything else you would like to learn how to pronounce, just let me know. And depending on what it is, I'll probably just make like a short instead of making a full 16-minute video. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this and I will see you some other time, I guess. Bye. Well, I Neiman.